Okay, peace, Smoke.
Malik, man.
All right, cool indeed.
All right.
I'm out here with Red,
Yes,
finally on
Me
the
and
1-2
Malik.
feats.
Yeah.
125.
Years out here, man.
Indeed.
Years.
06, 07.
If you look at when it took eight cops to take down the blue pill, that was me who got arrested.
Yo, if you gonna say it, don't say it. Don't be scared, man. That's the real, man. You playing games.
You take these cuffs off. Yo, you scam me?
Oh shit, word.
That was the God that
okay. That's really
try
good.
to abduct the young God. So
Yeah,
we stood up for him.
That's what's
yeah,
good.
word. I thank your brother for that, man.
Yeah. So now he on his path.
Yeah, I teach now. I teach in public school.
Okay.
I teach in public school. Well, I work in the summer, doing maintenance and buildings while I teach in public school.
That's what's really
Complete
good.
180.
That is 180.
From here, but I gotta give him that, and that's not a joke. He told me the same for me. He said you gonna lose your temper out here to the police and this and that, because that's all I did.
Yeah.
Got arrested every week.
Word.
Every week
But
out here.
he was in his phase of youthful exploration, meaning that because we haven't set up a proper, he was going through his rites of passage, selling bootleg DVDs, looking out for the po-po, going through the system, doing all of these things. Now, whose rites of passage was it? How does he be considered a man because of going through that? I'm not really, I can't really speak for that. I can only speak from the aspect that we've been co-opted by street rules. We've been co-opted to a street culture, so shit, that's what it is. I went to Rikers Island at 16. That was my rites of passage.
Right.
Do I want my 8-year-old son to go through that? He won't go through that. That's why we out here trying our damnness to set up something so his rites of passage will be conducive to his culture, a higher culture, higher civilization.
Absolutely, and that's
I can
what's
think about
important.
times out here. Like I used to hustle right there, literally, right here. Matter of fact, I'm lying, right here in this spot. Swear to God, right here. Me and my man Wise.
I'm dripping with
Right out here.
It was more ratchet, right?
Yeah.
It was open air
I don't know
drugs.
what happened here. No,
I'ma
it wasn't no Red Lobster.
I'm gonna share what happened.
I don't even know what happened to
It
Hustlers.
was pornography out here. It was open air drug dealing. Dudes was getting jostled. It was very. You didn't want to bring your family out here.
Word.
Fast forward to today, you have vendors representing consciousness, whether they're selling books, the articles of clothing have changed.
Right.
People are accepting their culture with the dashikis and other things.
Yeah.
DVDs, the vendors, not right now really, but there was a point where I counted 25 vendors from Frederick Douglass all the way down to Lexington. At one point, and all of them was representing consciousness. So sometimes you have to affect the environments that you're in with your light or with your information or with your presence and your energy, and it might not happen overnight, but if you're patient enough, you can have, this is me and a brother building, he's my point of reference to my growth. There's no way I could gauge my growth unless I sit back with somebody who knew me from 06, 07, and for him to point it out, and then we get back and start building, and my memory comes back. I'm like, yo, word. We was out here when shit was ratchet.
Right.
Yeah, it was. It was more crazy because you had red pill, blue pill, brothers really like telling me, Jabari, young kids really who hated to see us get locked up. We just get locked up every week. It was to the point we was regulars. I get locked up and they go, yo, I didn't want to get you, but you're the regular collar.
Right.
Every week where the OGs have us get, whatever. I think about all those times.
Indeed.
All right, I think about all those times, and I think about, just the advice, and I was like, man, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna keep being out here. I was like, I'm gonna keep being out here. I'm gonna keep getting locked up. Then it's just dried up. I don't know what happened. I started seeing things get torn down. I swear to God, man, I really ain't been out here too long, man. I ain't never seen Banana Republic, Red Lobster, and I asked Blue Pill. I was thinking in my head like, what happened to the Hustlers? And he just, because we was all out here to the point we was all getting money. I kid you not. It was a DVD, CD man. My man Jigs here, me, Wise, Bezo was here. I'm not trying to say any names, but I'm just saying in general, all of us was eating.
Word.
It's a cycle. It's called cycle.
Yeah, we was always.
And it's also called the fact that nothing remains the same.
Right.
Regentrification not only has ramifications, but it actually, you could sit back and watch the results of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching people who I watched grow up over the years have mental health issues now. Come right past my table, struggling with their mental health. I see other people struggling with their spiritual health,
this will do it,
meaning
though.
that they got something on them.
Yeah.
Then I see other, mostly women, struggling with economic stress.
Yes.
Now, how can I celebrate being in company of a pilgrim, living in my neighborhood, which is not even our neighborhood? We're just really tenants and residents in a place that we don't have no ownership in. So why would I feel honored to have them come amongst me when them being in this neighborhood not only makes the prices go up, but it changes the quality of our lives, but not for the better. Don't get it misconstrued, family, because what people tend to do is they tend to put Europeans or pilgrims' presence in our neighborhood with crime going down, with things clearing up, with all kind of other things, and I'm saying that's not what it is, because the drug sales are up because they're all on cocaine.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Stress-related deaths are going up.
Yeah.
Okay. People are being put out of their homes and put in certain situations because they got blocks where the rent is $3,000, but it's still a bunch of bullshit going on in the block. Motherfuckers still getting stuck up and clapped, and you got to step over sleeping people in the streets and all kind of stuff. So I don't feel that their presence is adding on to our environment or our culture. It's not helping our culture.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? They come in the neighborhoods that they don't respect the culture, and then they come into the neighborhoods and they want you to assimilate into their culture. And we don't want them to appropriate our culture. It's not like we want to see them in dashikis or banging on the djembe drumming or no.
Right.
We don't want that.
So let me ask you this, Red. What you think about when you talk to people from the environment you was just talking about, and you're like, yo, let's go out here on this land for a weekend or whatnot, and they like, oh, nah, it's too country out there. You know what I mean? It ain't no stores out there.
What's interesting about the pilgrim or the European is they're leaving rural places, right?
Yeah.
That is more conducive to Africans or Moors or the indigenous people's DNA. DNA responds to environment.
Right.
Our DNA, as a result of being in this environment, has been co-opted. You dig what I'm saying? We're in an unnatural environment, similar to what Dr. Sabi used to talk about with biochemistry. He said that if you take a polar bear out of their natural environment and then begin feeding them the food that a gorilla eats and put them in a gorilla's environment over the generations, you will begin to compromise the stock. You got to remember, what's taking place to our people is our stocks and our genetics have been compromised. We've gotten to a point where our stocks and our genetics, our creed, our stock has been weakened. As a result of it being weakened, meaning that if you break down somebody's body and their immune system weakens to a point where foreign germs or foreign entities are able to invade, or white blood cells.
Okay. Break that.
So when your neighborhood or your hoods are falling to such a point where Europeans are allowed to come in, it's almost akin to when a body breaks down and you're allowing white blood cells and foreign entities to come in. And what do? They compromise the body and take over. So what's going on in our neighborhoods? These Europeans or these pilgrims are coming into the neighborhoods. They are foreign. They have foreign cultures, they have an agenda, some of them are even military. They're coming in under NGOs, they're coming in under social entrepreneurship, they're coming in with stipends to pay their rent.
Right.
Now, what does this do to a people who don't produce? We don't produce. We don't produce shit. We're not producers. Producing is tied into reproduction. Producing is tied into produce. So you're not producing produce. Black people, African American, Negro colored, whatever you want to call yourself, you're not even producing produce. Where's produce being produced? In the rural places. Where's manufacturing taking place? In rural areas, not in cities. Warehouses and things of that nature take place in rural towns. We have to now have reverse exodus. Exodus meaning that there was an exodus from the country or the rural life into the city. or to the metropolis. Fast forward, it became a killing field. It won't work anymore. Like Brother Polite broke down in the video, and he spoke about the metaphysics of being in areas where all kind of death and destruction that's taking place, all kind of negative energy is in the air. The ionosphere, the shit is fucked up.
Word.
All right?
Yeah.
The concrete jungle, your feet is not even planted into real
Right.
dirt,
Right.
real
shit.
earth,
Yes.
real soil. You're not even being fed. I
Right.
can't even receive sunlight in this area where I've been vending for 10 years because of the mall or the
Yeah.
building blocking the sunlight. So I don't even get to charge up on vitamin D.
Right.
That's in the country. So
Yes.
why is our people going down south now?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like that. Don't cry.
Right.
Don't cry.
Right.
This shit don't work for us.
Right. Right.
Give it
right,
to them.
Right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be in the. I don't really need to be in a city like that anymore.
But you know what's ill, Red?
Yeah.
That's how it originally was. We was on the land, and the cities, the original ghettos, was for the Europeans.
You already know. So when you
Germans
look
and
at
question to
shit.
that, Red.
Go ahead.
What's your question to that? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, when you go down south, you got a bunch of forests and all this shit, acres and acres and acres and acres and acres. You saying you could create all of this
This is
From-
what I'm saying.
from that?
This is Turtle
'Cause
Island.
This probably started as
This
that.
is Turtle
It
Island,
was,
right? This is Turtle Island. This is sacred land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prior to the industrialization of this land, or the ghettoization of the land, right?
Yeah.
This was still considered rural-like. Seneca Village,
trees and all that stuff. You mean?
Central Park, which was Seneca Village, areas of Harlem, areas of Brooklyn were still considered rural-like. They didn't get paved with concrete roads and highways and skyscrapers and all of this stuff. This is something new to begin to happen. So
Yeah.
even when our people migrated into some of these cities, there
Yeah.
was still an aspect of the city life that was still conducive to what we had in the rural places. Case in point, Newark, Chicago, Detroit, all of these were what? Production hubs.
Yeah, that's why it
Going
was
back to what I
called-
was saying about produce and production. So
Yeah.
if you don't produce as a people, you can't survive.
Right.
And it's tied into reproduction. Why is our abortion rate at its highest? For everybody that says Black Lives Matter, the abortion rate amongst your people is astronomical. So Black lives don't fucking matter. And our women are producing with who? People outside of our race, because what do? They produce. So they have the rights for reproduction. So a
Right.
black woman will become impregnated, or an African American or Mobite will become impregnated by a European pilgrim, and her conversation is like, you know what, fuck that, I'm having it. I'm gonna have the mulatto or the biracial child. Why? Because the European pilgrim controls production. So I'm gonna reproduce because he can produce. He can feed us, he can clothe us, and he can shelter us. Niggas
Right.
can't. So
Right,
when
right.
that happens, they're killing these. They're throwing them away. They're saying they're not even worthy to give birth to, because
Right,
we
right,
have
right.
to control production. All of these places that I just mentioned, once production left the hand. Remember, we was having 20 children in Detroit. Brothers were reproducing astronomically, and I'm not co-signing this. They had multiple families on some polygamy. I'm co-signing polygamy,
Right.
but they were producing so much that they were even able to have families on different parts of on different sides of town,
Right.
because our women were so comfortable, and they were growing produce in the fields or in the rural land. They were producing clothes, manufacturing clothes out of hemp and other things. Our women was like, fuck that,
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Right.
Look at the list of all of the. I'm gonna end it on this.
Okay.
Look at the list of all of the inventors.
Yes.
Translation, all of the men who produced. Translation, all of the thinkers who were doers, who created technology, both first mentally, then physical, to do what? To help life get better. What is technology? The application of information in order to solve a problem, to make life better, to make things better, make them easier. So, go ahead and go into where did they domicile? Find that out. Go and list the whole list of the 1,800 inventors. They were living in rural environments.
Absolutely. And
Mostly.
you can definitely get that on
What
our
I'm
They were
saying-
eating from the land. You understand? People like, how was they able to come out of
can that still be
so-called
done?
slavery and do that?
You.
Of course it can. So when we go into rural lands, we're not trying to duplicate mega cities. We don't need all of this. I don't want to be in a building that is 40 stories tall, with all of this energy and all of these spirits and all of this energy compact on top of each other. Negative spirits, negative energy, trauma. If a brother get popped in the hallway, it's that energy, that spirit is still lingering.
Yes.
I don't want to be compressed because what did the project show us? The project showed us the possibilities of people coming together and working together, but the shit didn't work. If they implemented a SUSU program, if they implemented cooperative economics, the cooperative economics that I saw on display was crack dealing, and that shit worked out in an environment of a Queensbridge, an environment of a Fort Greene, where you had all of these people come together. They utilized cooperative economics to sell drugs, coke, weed, heroin, dope, all kind of things, pills, but to implement a SUSU program or cooperative economic program or a social program, they didn't do that.
Word.
They didn't do that.
Okay.
They did not do that. They didn't nationalize anything in that area, so they did not see the power that they had. They didn't nationalize anything in that area, so they did not see the power that they had. They only saw, not only, but they really began to see the detriment of when you take something that could be a pro and turn it into a con, putting a whole bunch of people together and then throwing something in a mix that will potentially make them go to war against each other. Crack rocks.
Right.
You put impoverished people in an environment and then offer them solutions that were natural or solutions that help them pull the entrepreneur out of themselves, and then you threw a solution in there which was a $5 rock.
That's fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
Because
And they tore each other
so
to
much
pieces.
competition, yeah.
They tore each other to pieces over that.
Little, over
So,
blocks and all that.
my
That's
main
fucked
thing
up.
is this: if we were to focus on production, because keep in mind, the cities or the mega cities or the metropolis areas are seen as consumer. These are consumer.
These are trading spots.
These are trading spots.
That's it.
The whole U.S.A as a corporation is a humongous supermarket. It's a trading dock.
Right.
So people do things in India. They do manufacturing. They do it in China, Asia Major, Asia Minor. They do mass manufacturing and production, and then they go into markets that are seen as supermarkets or they're seen as trading posts. America being one of the most prominent and dominant.
Yes.
So I would go on the outskirts and produce, and then I would come into the city and trade.
That's what it is. Because all of them people
With
who,
no apology.
I mean,
what
but
you
Twin,
got,
gotta
like
understand
whoever own Red Lobster, they don't live in New York City.
All right, what I'm saying to you,
and
Twin,
the
is,
shareholders and all.
And all of that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
all right, I mean, it was stolen from us. That's obvious.
Right.
Twin. Again, like what I was saying, you're right. But I'm saying, like, the rural areas, I mean, is it still available out here? Is there still areas where you can expand yourself as a...
I met a pilgrim. the
White
other
man,
day.
white man?
Yeah, a pilgrim.
European.
I don't mean to say,
Yeah,
white
yeah.
man, Europe. What is it, white
A
man?
European, but I call them pilgrims. Pilgrims
they
would
are.
be a
What you
stranger, a stranger to a land. I
Oh,
don't
he
even
wasn't
say
dressed with no
European.
hat and no buckles.
Anybody with a pink complexion and a phenotype of a
Paleo.
Caucasus Mountain, ancestor would be considered a pilgrim in the lands of the Americas. If I take you into the Caribbean and you see anybody that's not copper tone complexion, right, or of a darker hue, or maybe lighter, but you would consider that a pilgrim.
Yeah.
Because they're foreign to that land. They're not indigenous to that land. So you could
Right.
put a kitten in the oven and that doesn't make it a biscuit.
Right.
Okay.
Or a person from Asia Minor could have they could have quadruplets in Jamaica. That doesn't make them Jamaican.
Right.
Right?
Real
So
shit.
when you see a European and they know their nationality, they'll tell you Italian American, Irish American,
So they-
Russian American. They
So
have
these white folks consider pilgrims.
these are pilgrims. These are
Okay.
not even white folk. These are pilgrims. So I met one from Wisconsin. He told me that there's so many houses and so much land and property up for sale from where he left post 9/11, because that's when they started their exodus or their regentrification, program into these urban areas. it started with Bill Clinton coming into Harlem, but it got ramped up post 9/11 when New York City turned into a place that I never thought that I would see. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
he said that the rural areas are damn near uninhabited. So what I'm saying for the reverse exodus, if I were to take you into Atlanta, certain parts of Atlanta right now, you see how these people are walking, how there's foot traffic, and we're seeing the different phenotypes. Look, showed our brothers from the continent.
Peace and love, family.
My sister right there from the continent. How you doing? All of these different nationalities. New York City being a cosmopolitan where not everywhere has this. This is a very special place. I could take you in places in Atlanta where all of this foot traffic is no pilgrims. Nothing. You would never see a trace. You would, I mean, a red bone would be, they would be staring at her like they out of place.
Yeah.
So we are now in places in the South that is completely melanated because of the mass exodus. And the people who have come back have a mentality of a people who are living in a different time zone, because time is centrifugal, meaning time is not linear. It goes in cycles. So me coming from a place like New York where time is sped up, I'm living in the quickening. If you take me into a place where time has been slowed down, I have the advantage. Why? Because I come from a place where I'm in 2016 right here. I could take you into places where it's 1980. No offense to that place. Right?
But the property was there though before you got there? That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know.
What I'm trying to say
never
besides
mind.
Roll, the property was there before you got there? Hypothetically, I'm not, you know, because
Property,
that's what I'm
my
trying.
thing is this. We indigenous to this land.
Yeah, all lands was
All
allodial.
lands, all of this land. The reason why I stress the word pilgrim is because if I can identify this man as being a pilgrim, but subconsciously and consciously you've attributed this land to him, or you've acquiesced control or ownership to a land, this land mass to him, therein lies the problem. You have to remove ownership in your mind first. Fuck everything else, it starts in your mind first. So you have to say, no, this is not your land. You don't own shit over here. These not even your resources. How am I paying for electricity, water, and all of these other things? This not even your land, cracker. You understand? This is not your land. Bottom line, we won it in war. You can't win anything in war. You could take something in war, but at the end of the day, if you acknowledge the fact that you took something illegally in warfare, then that means that you have the opportunity or the possibility to take it back.
Yes.
So
Well,
I'm saying is this.
You get rewarded. That's in war.
Yeah.
These things.
Well, war, there's rewards in war, right?
Yeah.
There's rewards in war.
And morals.
There's casualties in war.
And
There's
morals.
treaties in wars and all kind of other things. But my thing is this. You're dealing with you're dealing with a government who won't acquiesce. They won't speak that language.
Right.
They won't speak that language. The language that they're speaking in their legal documents, and the language that they're speaking in their government, and the language that they're speaking in their court systems is not the same language as a conqueror or an invader or somebody that's saying, I won the war, fuck that, take it in blood. That's not the language. So we can have those conversations, but that's not the conversation. That's the conversation that their military has, but that's not the conversation that their government has. And that's who we're having this conversation with at the end of the day. So what we're saying is these lands that we are identifying that was basically this filled with minerals, filled with resources, filled with all kind of things, we have
That's worth
rights.
fighting over. I'm not saying it's worth fighting over, but you know, obviously worth them taking it.
They got it through bloodshed.
Yeah.
They got it through bloodshed. And they know.
But the Louisiana Purchase was purchased not through bloodshed.
Right,
the Louisiana
right.
Purchase
Yeah.
was given to them. I'm talking about half of America because of bloodshed. But on their side, they got they got beheaded and they were getting their ass whooped in Haiti.
Right.
And the French,
They was
as a
holding the
result of
coast
that,
down.
they sold. How many acres was that?
You good.
Because everybody is so victimized these days, it's so traumatized, and it's called post-traumatic PTSD, right? PTSD?
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome, post-traumatic slave syndrome. They got niggas that wasn't even slaves, but because they watched Roots, because they watched 12 Years a Slave, because that European pilgrim teacher or that Khazarian or Ashkenazi Jew who they had trusted as a grade school teacher told them that they were slaves. They believed that. So they're not even approaching their history from any point or any standpoint of power, right?
Right.
So these conversations that we're having is seen as subversive. They're scared to have these conversations because they've acquiesced to the reality or the perception of being a slave. Meaning that once you do that, it's you. How the fuck can you fight?
Right.
You can't fight as a slave. There's no fighting slaves.
Real
You understand?
talk. Yeah.
You castrated. You're a eunuch.
Yeah.
You've been your balls got cut off. You're a
Right.
stud. You've been created. You've acquiesced to the fact that somebody created you on a sex farm or a plantation and you're a new species, right? You've acquiesced to the fact that somebody created you on a sex farm or a plantation and you're a new species, right?
Yeah.
If you put that collar on yourself, how you can't even stand in the same room with us.
Right. Real shit.
It's you're a Roman slave.
Yeah.
In every facet of that, you become homosexual. You look a homosexual black man or a homosexual Moor or I can't even call him a Moor. A homosexual Morisco in a room. Peace. Look at the mo.
Oh, brother.
No doubt.
Dennis, what's good, man? How you been, man?
Pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good.
Dennis,
No doubt.
I haven't seen you in the longest
So
time,
you feel
man.
me today?
Yeah.
I probably just missed Kiss. I came up to get something and I think they closed 7:30.
Okay. I
Gotta
don't
check
know.
and see if it's
Yeah, check and see
It's
what's
probably
really
still open,
good.
man. You got.
Oh, they're
yeah,
going
they
on.
ain't closed yet.
Good
All right,
seeing
man.
good seeing
You too,
guys.
Dennis.
All right, take care.
Thanks to Dr. Francis Cress Welshin explaining to us the biological, the biogenetic conflict that recessives have with people who have dominant genes over them. A homosexual Morisco in a room of Europeans pose no threat whatsoever. None.
Right.
None.
Right.
And
Yeah.
chances are he won't make it out the room without being on his knees.
Right.
He doesn't
Yeah.
serve any threat. There's no genetic threat whatsoever in a room. I'm talking about if it's a room of one of them or 1 million of them. But if you put a melanated Moor, a black Moor, whatever you want to call him, the same person who introduced, who was darkening the whole of the continent of Europe, if he comes in a room, he's a threat.
Threat. ASAP.
He's an automatic threat.
ASAP.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Genetically, culturally,
Yeah.
spiritually, physically. I mean, I could go on for days. So,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is,
Do you think that's because they fear what they don't have?
of course,
Okay.
you remind them of something that they'll never have. That's melanin. You might not think anything of it because of, not you,
Yeah.
but it's because of self-hate programming and the fact that you don't respect your carbon, right?
Right.
But they do.
Yeah.
Why do they do it? Because they don't have it.
Right.
So they have to try to find out what the fuck is this shit that we don't got.
Right. It's like somebody
So
being rich and
they
somebody
can't-
being poor.
Exactly. So with all of the money that they have, with all of the resources that they have, with all of the power or the perceived power that they have, one thing that they don't have is something that's inherent. It is called melanin.
Right,
It's called
right.
a certain form of spirit that won't allow them to do certain things. They are off. They think they got it all, but if there's 1% missing, there's a problem. So they wanna, and you could see it in their activities of what? Trying to tan, melatonin pills, organ transfers, all of these things. The Moabite woman being the object of desire, that is a feat for them.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? But for our women to be with one of them, that is a result of being conquered in war. It's not a feat because our
Right.
women in Africa or on the continent or even in the Americas, they wasn't running to jump into bed with them.
Right.
That is
Right.
a result of they have acquiesced to the fact that their men have been defeated, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that you're a vassal in America or
Right.
U.S.A. So our women who are always naturally what? Booty. Conquered, when you conquer a nation, you you have all rights to their women.
Yeah, that's why
All
I
right.
heard that when you were polite.
Okay, so when a nation is conquered, you could tell a conquered nation by the condition of their women and the fact that their women are running around with every other fucking nation. You don't see that in a lot of nations.
Right.
Not no proud nations.
Right.
There are a few other, like, you know, the Japanese consider themselves defeated because of the bomb. So
Right,
what did
right,
they do?
right.
They acquiesced to the
Hiroshima?
European culture. So their artwork, their magma, their artwork, their comic books, their video games. Remember, they were the progenitors behind a lot of the video games that we grew up playing. What were their heroes? Blonde hair, white, pink skin.
Right,
Okay,
right.
their women will go with the European very quickly because they admitted defeat to them.
Yeah.
All right, they admitted defeat to them. You find that through different cultures, but you find that the most being shown these days through our sisters. European in neighborhoods that's regentrified, do you see more Moors with European women reflecting what happened in Spain, or do you see more Moabites with European men?
You see more white chicks with black.
Yeah,
black
you see
men.
more European
In
women.
regentrified neighborhoods,
Yeah, yeah,
neighborhoods that are predominantly melanated. Do you see more sisters with European pilgrim
No, you
men,
actually see
or do
more
you
white-
see more brothers from the corner,
I see
Ray
more-
Ray and them, chilling
Stepping
with
up
Becky
with
and them?
white girls. Yo, you know what, twin man? I'm gonna tell you.
I'm just asking
It
the
became more of a
question.
prize, though. I hate to say it, twin. It became more.
I know, but when I
Yeah.
was younger,
It became a prize.
when I was younger, it was more brothers with
European women.
It was more of the
No, what I'm
when I-
saying is-
Now the
more of a
European
prize.
women is
That's-
attracting to
Okay.
the Moorish men because they know that we are their salvation.
We are their salvation.
But now we in the days where we saying, nah, we want our women. You
we
know
want
what I
our
mean?
women back to
What
build
I'm-
our
That's
nation.
it.
up.
You
Look,
know
let me
what
give you
I
an
mean?
example, twin, real quick. I met a chick, a girl, white girl, right?
Yeah.
European chick.
European
Oh,
chick, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even know her nationality, right?
Right.
Mind you, just as she is teachers convention, no nothing, not trying to sleep with her, no
Yeah.
nothing. I walk with her through Fordham. People looking like it's a prize. She actually just wanted to go to see Fordham. She heard
Yeah.
about Fordham. And swear to God, I drove her. I said, oh, yeah, let's go see Fordham. Teachers convention. She's the new person at the school. People looking like a prize almost. I walk with a black girl, which, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, my daughter's mother.
Yeah.
Just a normal walk. With her, it's a prize. It's like, yo, I'm getting compliments. I'm getting, you understand what I'm saying?
Right, right,
03,
right.
I was in Miami, and a European from Canada, pilgrim from Canada, right? She wanted to do the same thing. She wanted to walk through South Beach with me, right? I said, no problem. We going to Wet Willie's. I'll walk with you from the beach. You
Right.
dig what I'm saying? I got my shirt off, you know, brother oiled up and all of that.
Right.
The amount of daggers. You know when they say looks could kill?
Yeah.
Your boy would have been a t-shirt that day if that was true, because the
Right.
sisters, they might as well hit me with knives and forks.
Well, the sisters didn't
Hold
like
on.
it, but the
Right,
brothers.
right.
I know, but I'm just giving you
Right,
an
right.
example of
Okay.
how times have changed.
Yeah.
Because I could pull the same stunt on South Beach right now, and like you said, I'll be getting checked out by the sisters are checking out like, oh, he done came up, and the
Yeah.
brothers will be looking at me like, damn, you got you a good Becky, and we know what they do behind closed doors.
Right,
So we know
right.
that you gonna have a good night. All I'm saying is this: now that we see our sisters, they are taking over in that race. You know, they outdoing the brothers. All I'm saying is this: because economic warfare is real and regentrification is economic warfare, and the mentality, women are attracted to providers and people that provide security and all kind of other things. So if the European is running around like he's paying a $4,000, $3,000 rent,
Right.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the same tote, niggas is packing their bags up and they in a U-Haul like, yo, bye Shaquita, I catch you in North Carolina or Atlanta. He's sticking around like, I got bros in Atlanta, but I'm here. So the mentality is like, yo, we are conquering niggas with through economic warfare.
Yeah.
And the women are acquiescing, saying that, yo, I think that it's time to start swirling because we're identifying them as providers. Meaning that what? The cracker could produce. So
Right.
he has the right to reproduce in their wombs.
Right.
And not only that, okay? Not only that, but he is in their minds more superior as a recessive, but he is in their minds more superior to their men, and they're beginning to turn their backs on us.
Yeah.
They're beginning to say, what's the worth of the fight?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Obama is biracial. He's
Right.
a great man. He was the president. It can't be that bad to push one of them out.
Right.
I'm just trying to tell you, because remember, the pilgrim, his whole power is in suggestion. He rules in bluffing you niggas, and he rules in suggestion. He deals with suggestion. So nothing is blatant. Everything is done through suggestion, meaning that they market to your subliminal, meaning that they market to your lower self. Edward Bernays, Century of Self. So why is all of the ads biracial now? Why is the marketing dealing with European men and African American women with natural looks, not no Shaquita, not the 5-star chicks, not the what they've identified as the thought look. No, he's going directly for Sekhmet, Sekhmet Bay. You know what I'm saying? They're running with them now.
Right.
And I have a problem with that. That's not 100. That shit is treasonous.
Right.
You understand? That is a fucking pathology. That, in my humble opinion. And then we didn't even mention religion. If you agree to a white Jesus, then you agree to the fact that the chosen people must come from his nation, and his nation would have to be pilgrims. So now you are acquiescing to the fact that you are the cursed people.
I'm glad you said that,
and then
Red.
if he's your savior and you want to give your life to him, you got sisters, they put the fucking picture over the bed and the brother trying to get some action and they praying at his cracker. So what does that say? That what they will, if they can't have physical love, if they can't make physical love to that man or make physical sex in him, what does the mind do? The mind begins to say, what can I relate that to? Huh? Like I adore the goddesses from Kemet that are on the walls. While I'm out here and I'm surveying the land and I'm looking for a sister that I want to make my own, I would choose the phenotype to the sister or to the entity or to the culture that I have respect for, right? So our people have they don't give a fuck about the lynchings. They don't care about they don't care about Jim Crow. They don't care about none of that. Subliminally, what takes precedent over that is their religion. And what does their religion tell them? Their religion tells them that the European is dominant over them, or the pilgrim is dominant over them, and they need to fucking thank the pilgrim for doing what it is that they doing by civilizing them. But what do we say? We say that's a farce, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have to come into Europe as Muslims or Muslims and teach them.
Right.
We wouldn't have to bring the motherfucking keys. We brought the major keys to them. So that is the biggest contradiction going at play right now.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
In the interaction that we had with their women who, at the end of the day, are women, because you can't tell her, you got all of these Negroes out here that try to, I don't understand how those brothers could have, and I don't know why they, a man is a man. An African is a fucking African. He's been an African. He's an African now, and he's always been African. Go on War 16. Go wherever the Africans is at. What do?
Stick together. That's what
They stick together and they stick it to them. Okay? All right? They stick together, but what do? They procreate, right? They build up families. They get multiple women on their team, and they like to have fucking sex. Bottom line. All right? You ask your girlfriend about the Africans. Ask your girl about the Nigerians and what they be doing. Okay? So nothing has changed. So the same West Africans that you see today was the same West Africans that was in motherfucking Spain. And when they ran up on them Italian women, they sized them up, they cleaned them up, they perfumed them up, and then they boned them. Okay? So the European has never got over that.
Right.
And the European has done everything in his power to get you back for what it is that you did, okay? And if they're doing a lot in their power to hide the fact that they got our blood in their system and shit like that. So, I mean, it is what it is, but it's a lot of information that needs to be shared with the people who are walking around lost. Like it says on the sister's shirt, they just lost. And at this point, they fucking a beggar nation, they groveling Negroes, they're lost. You know what I mean? Like they're the walking dead. Like Polite said, they're resonating, they're megahertz, their frequencies that they're resonating as is legally dead.
That was a
Candida,
great interview he
Right.
did.
Candida,
Great interview.
Word.
cancer. You know what I mean? Legally dead.
Right.
Okay. So how you gonna wake the people up? The best way to wake them up is by giving them that light, shining that light. There's gonna be a person that's gonna see this. It's gonna wake them up. That's mission accomplished. You know what I mean?
And for that one who's gonna see this, tell them how can they get that fly shirts? Where can they get the fly clothing at?
Oh
bro?
yeah,
Where-
kingscounty.bigcartel.com.
Okay.
Spelled the same way. Kings County Clothier,
King
KKK.
with a Z.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
Kings
that.
County
KKK.
Clothier.
Took over the
go.
KKK.
You
Get that
understand?
fly
Took
gear.
over the KKK. I like
Wherever
that.
your feet are planted,
Yes.
that's your kingdom. You
Absolutely.
understand? That is your kingdom.
Indeed.
You don't gotta worry about that. So our
Indeed.
kingdom is our temple. Our kingdom is here. We're gonna rebuild that physical kingdom, brick and mortar,
Yes.
you know, castles and shit and all that fly stuff.
Yeah.
But right now, this is your temple. This is your kingdom.
Right.
Like Rakim say, it ain't where you from, it's where you at.
Right.
So wherever
Right,
you
right,
go,
right.
you bring the kingdom with you. So the Moors, as an empire, our kingdom is when we come together and then we build and we restructure in our minds. This is, you know, it starts here first.
Yeah.
It starts here first, and then it starts here simultaneously. You dig what I'm saying? And then we
Word.
can see the physical building. So stop asking for buildings. Stop asking for all of that superficial shit. Let's come together first. Let's see that demonstration. Then we could crowdfund,
Look,
Yes.
You know,
and that builds your buildings.
let me
Word.
tell you, man, from somebody who's been out here, you know what I'm saying, I would say 12 years ago, I was out here heavy, literally. Twin was right here set up. Red, well, we call him Twin.
Yeah.
You know, red, blue pill.
Yeah.
Was out here
Shout
heavy,
out
set
to
up
Blue,
right there.
too.
Used to let me stash my stuff right on this table, illegally and all that. You know what I'm saying? Well, illegal to them. What do you call that?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm
To me, I was
chopping
doing
that
something-
I
out.
call it the grind. He was out here selling DVDs.
Yeah, because I don't want to even say I was doing something
Feel me?
negative.
I'm
Yeah.
not, like,
I'm gonna
he was
top
doing
that.
what he had to
And
do
paying-
as a merchant,
Yes.
and he
yes.
wasn't selling drugs to help to defocalize our people.
Yes.
And he
yes.
wasn't selling drugs to help to defocalize our people.
Yes.
And he
yes.
wasn't selling drugs to help to defocalize our people,
Right.
or to put our people in a vulnerable state where other
Yeah.
entities and all kind of gateways,
And-
stuff
yeah.
like that.
And he respected what I
dealing
did.
with entertainment.
He
was
respected what I
dealing
did.
with entertainment.
He respected what I
dealing
did.
with entertainment.
And
Yeah.
he respected what I did.
Right. Right. I mean,
You see me,
because
young kid, guy.
no, real shit. Because you got to think about it. CVS is down the street. It's a drugstore.
Facts. Not real talk.
Rite Aid
People is dying.
is a drugstore.
ODing off of that shit.
You know what I mean? Eckerd, all that
And if
shit
you can't
is
afford it,
a
you ain't
drugstore.
get that shit either.
So look,
That's
it's
the
no
crazy
different
part.
than it's no different
than
than
the hustler. You
when-
can afford it, you ain't gonna
yes.
get it.
The
You're
bando.
like we're gonna put this out there, right? One day you're gonna have your own store, just like all of these, right? Okay,
We-
and you'll be selling your product in that store.
You know,
it's
we-
the same thing with what they call drugs on the street.
Pharmacopoeia.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Pharmacopoeia.
Yes, it's
Look,
the same
which
shit.
basically,
It's
shout
just
out
you got-
to Dr. Sabi, rest in peace to
Oh.
my elder.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
big salute.
Somebody who brought alternative medicine, somebody who brought the herbs that grow naturally in the
Yes.
jungles, in
You
the
good, brother?
forest, and what the man did, what the pilgrim did through pharmacopoeia is he took those elements of those plants and he created an illegal substance. He created a substance that will, as we can see, through malpractice, all of the deaths that are attributed to malpractice, through all of the side effects. You take a headache drug and you wind up with being impotent, shit like that.
Right,
You know,
right.
he took something that was pure and did what? Perverted it like he always does with everything.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
And made it a product that he monetized and then made all of the natural things illegal
Yeah.
or out of the reach. Or he took the information and buried it so people don't have access to it. So that's what we're talking about. People like Dr. Sabi taking back what is ours, the indigenous way to heal. People
Yeah.
in Africa wasn't wearing glasses. They were not obese in Africa. You
Word.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They were not invalids like that in Africa. They didn't have heart disease. They didn't have
Right.
cancer. They didn't have AIDS and shit like that. They weren't having anal sex and all of these other crazy things. These pathologies that we see as a result of what I was going back to before. The fact that you live in an environment, when we quote unquote integrated into or assimilated into Western culture, Western society, or European culture. We were in it and not of it when we were together.
Yeah.
When we integrated into this society, which we call Rome, when in Rome, when in Rome, because they could change the physical location, but if the senators are the same, if the constitutions are the same, if all of the way of life and the culture is the same, you're going to see the effects of it. Meaning that the European is not threatened by homosexuality because he's almost like kudos. That's part of his culture. He's like, yo, nigga, I see you. That's Greco-Roman, Ptolemy, Indo-European culture. So all I'm saying is the fact that because we have reclaimed our culture and we saying, screw their culture. And even when we went amongst their culture and introduced them to real culture and then implemented or integrated our high culture into their low culture, right? All we're saying is we have the right
I remember, I'm gonna
to
tell you
get
this.
it back.
Hold on, but before you go in,
Yeah.
Red, I want to ask you one question before I breeze out. And this is with all due respect. Salute to Dr. Sabi. Salute to you, Blue, the rest of the family, your mother, Mama Pill, etc. For those, you know, because unfortunately people they got the mind state of, soon as somebody passes away, oh, let me go get all their albums. Soon as they pass away, oh, let me grab all of their sneakers. All of these things. It will for the continuance of Dr. Sabi's legacy, if it's not too much to ask, will people still be able to obtain his products? If so, how?
Of course.
Okay,
Of course. He had a functioning website,
Okay.
a functioning business. I don't want to put the amount of money that the man was doing on a monthly basis.
Right, no need.
But it was in the figures of 6.
Okay.
You know, he employs people from different nationalities, not pilgrims though.
Right,
He's from Central America, so he's dealing with the aboriginals of that land.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And he employed them, some Africans as well.
yeah.
Not only will his products still be in production, going back to production,
Yes.
one of the main components, one of the main keys to raising up our people, we have to begin to produce. We have to begin to get back into production. We have to take over these empty factories. The machinery has to be acquired. Like Noble Drew Ali said, when the machinery stops,
Yes.
we got to start it back up.
in the
He
hands
had
of us.
hands-on to his production, meaning that he didn't have third parties producing his herbs or his elixirs or his remedies.
Right.
It was
right.
in-house.
Yes.
So you can take the man, but you don't take the plan because those formulas are still alive.
Yeah.
My Mama Pill,
Yeah.
KT the Arts Degree,
Right.
Minister Inky, and a few other people in the community. Brother Polite, Dave took in some of the elixirs, some of the recipes and the ingredients. Blue Pill as well,
Yeah.
and they've been applying them to products. The
Yeah.
sea moss that you brothers and sisters may have gotten, Seventh Heaven sea moss,
Yeah.
that's a Sabi recipe.
Okay.
All right, that's a result of perfecting a recipe that Dr. Sabi introduced.
And that's official too, just for the record.
Official tissue.
Yeah.
Sea
What's it do?
moss
What's
is 98 trace minerals, you know what I mean, and nutrients, zinc, copper, all kind of things. When you ejaculate or when you bust a nut, right? When a woman ovulate, when they have their menstrual cycles, all kind of nutrients are leaving our bodies, but how is it being returned? Is Popeye's chicken giving you zinc? Is Popeye's chicken giving you all of the minerals? Is it giving you gold? Do you know the body got traces of gold in it? Do we know we got gold? We got stardust. We got zinc, copper, quartz, gold, all of this stuff in our blood. So we got to begin to, we are all malnourished.
Yeah.
I don't care if you diesel, I don't care if you fat, I don't care if you thick, lean, all of this fly shit. You know what I mean? If you eating shit with steroids in it, of course you could bulk up.
Right,
But what about
right.
malnourishment?
Yeah.
What about the fact that AIDS have been identified as simply malnourishment? That's why it's rampant in Africa. They malnourished. They don't got AIDS like that.
Right.
How the fuck you could be a little baby with AIDS?
Yeah.
You
It don't
ain't
make
having no
sense.
sex with nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're malnourished
Yeah.
in the same maladies or the same complications that the body has, which is a compromised immune system, comes about as a result of malnourishment and other things.
Indeed.
So we gotta nourish the body. So Mama Pill got product. KT the Arts Degree got product. Dr. Sabi official, I think it's drsabiofficial.com. They got product. His wife Ma'a and the Fig Tree, they got product. So with 44 million Aboriginal indigenous people in North America alone, North of Mexico, and then you got the Caribbean, and then you got Central and South. We need more of us.
Yeah.
And if the people were to wake up, then we found ourselves with $1 billion business that we all could have shares and equity and stock in, and that's how we build wealth. That's how we build legacy. That's how we build tradition. So if he left us, he has land in Honduras.
Yeah.
We got to secure the bag. We got to make sure that that land is A1.
Yes.
Acres upon acres of land where they're growing all kind of herbs, natural foods, all kind of things. So, you know, the struggle or the strive or the liberation continues.
Indeed.
Number one law is health, self-preservation.
Indeed.
We want to be able to reach, I'm 40. My goal now is to make it to 80 some odd, 83, 44 more years, 84.
Right.
Now I have a point of reference to look forward to now. Our brother Polite just turned 33. Dr. Sabi was born in 33.
Yo, that's amazing.
He died at 83,
bro.
so Polite got 50 more years to go in his greatness.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So succession is about being able to succeed, being able to have someone to succeed you. You understand what I'm saying?
Who's
That's what
coming
the brother
behind
broke
you.
down. Polite broke down. Succession, or being able to say success. How can one measure his success? I have a succession of people who are going to be greater than me.
That's why
so I'm able to
stop
say
by,
I succeeded in life because my son is greater than me.
Even, and we not related. That's why every time I stop by, I remember after what you saw when if you look on a YouTube article where eight cops take down a blue pill, they getting locked up.
Yo, but that go to show they weak as fuck too. Excuse my expression.
No, I gave him a little hard time. I was young, ignorant.
They rule through bluff and intimidation.
What
ended up happening when I came back out, did a little bit of a few weeks, came back out. They told me I wasn't welcome here no more, and not just the police laid it on the hustlers is the dudes who I was working with. Like, yo, long as he's here, y'all not getting money.
Word.
We gonna run up on y'all. He got to go. So, they told me like, yo, Malik, cool, you this, you that, you can't get money out here. Mind you, at this time I'm paying the rent for my mother and I got 4 little sisters, you know what I'm saying? At this time I'm doing all that from here. Off the pavement, getting money. Twin. Holler at him, which, twin, blue, I'm red, call me.
Shout out to Blue.
I'm going to him because I can't get money. They dead in me. And, not even in a wicked way. They got bills to pay. They're looking like, yo, you caused the police riot. So I go to him like, yo, what I'm gonna do? Da-da-da-da. He said, you young, you can figure this shit out. I'm looking like, I can't figure it out. I've been out here since I was 14. Fuck you talking about? It wasn't an answer to me. Then I said, fuck it, I go home.
But it was at the same time.
It was, He told me like, yo, they ain't never worked for nobody, ever. So they ain't worry. I've been here for years. I can never say he worked for anybody, him or his brother. And yo, we done seen the slowest days out here. It done been days out here.
$0.
Well, we ain't seen $1. None of us.
Zero.
Dollar. But then been some days out here we felt rich.
Stacks.
We didn't. So, and I was just looking at him. I was lost out here now. I think about it. Then I was like, yo, you know what? Go uptown. I said, all right, let me enroll in school. Sound like a long-term plan, long-ass plan, and it seemed long, man. Before you think about it seemed long. Then I became a paraprofessional, started working with individual students.
My brother.
Started working with individual students, then I moved up. You know what I'm saying? A little more, started working with more special needs students. In September, I'm gonna work with the blind and the deaf. I'm gonna actually learn sign language in September.
That's what's good. I just want to comment on that real quick. First, I want to say congratulations
thank you.
for your transition, but also learning sign language, because a lot of people, it's like all types of quote-unquote consciousness. People want to learn about masonry. They want to learn about all these things. You know what I mean? How do I throw a sign or all of this? And I said, the first thing I said is, if you really want to communicate with somebody through signs, you should get into art and learn sign language first.
They make us,
so you can talk to somebody who really get it in with that.
The crazy thing is, during orientation, that's one of the requirements. You ain't stepping foot in the classroom if you can't communicate with the child. And when
Yeah.
they start with a good, what they consider good pay, which is good pay to me. I came from here, and I told you, him and his brother saved me. His brother ain't have to fight. I was getting choked in the car.
Right,
When, you know, when Blue came and did that for me, I was getting choked.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I even deserved it. I was getting choked in the car when him and his brother came, and all the brothers was out here. I didn't even mean to cause a riot. I caused such a riot that I ended up being locked up for a while. It's to the point where they ain't charged me with nothing. They just sent me to Rikers Island, sitting there.
Yeah.
And to the point where it was so much footage on it where they figured I would sue. Now I'm so young and I don't understand nothing. I just want to get out. They say, you know what, just get out. I remember one day. I remember one day my name was Malik White. Malik White, and they calling me on the. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm out. Not understanding what's going on. I couldn't hustle out here. I talked to Twin because they always had positive for me. Young brother named Jabari out here. A couple other dudes who ain't listen. They still doing okay, some not. But I just listened to what he said. I was like, damn, you know what? Let me try something. And don't think I'm not trying to tell you no success story. I'm trying to tell you that. If I was out here, what I was doing, I was fighting around the corner, fighting dudes. There's times where you got to fight for your spot out here.
Yeah.
And it's so sad, like CDs, DVDs, what we selling, you got to fight for your spot. And I don't. Sad thing is, we were so separate. And I remember saying this ignorant shit to Twin. You know, upon me red. I remember saying it so ignorant, like, yo, I'm about to fight this African nigga. He hustling in my spot. Not realizing what I am.
Right.
And actually fighting, knocking dude out. Little things like that because we had so little. You know what I'm saying, Twin? And we ain't really have nothing. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work over here no more. I wanted my own because I was kind of getting, I ain't gonna say getting cheated, but we was making $1,500, $1,600 a day and I was getting $40, $50. I was like, man, I know the hustle. I'm the one making the money. These motherfuckers is going to the bathroom, going to talk to women. I'm making all the money.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do this shit myself. I went over there by Old Navy on the next block, started doing them shit myself.
Yo, but you know what, my brothers? I'm gonna have to end on this.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yo,
I gotta
first of all,
get
I want to say, man, thank you. I love you. And I'm glad to stop by you. Tell your brother I love him and thank you for everything.
I'm glad you did what you had to do.
Definitely,
King.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That was a turn in the right direction.
I wish I could teach the students more of this, but we got a lesson plan.
I know.
We can't really, you know what I'm saying? This might even get me in the.
But your life is your lesson. That's your lesson.
So I wish I could teach
somebody's
the students
gonna see this,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Word." I just went through a situation that they may have. Because remember, it's all about perception.
Yeah.
So instead of perceiving a situation as a negative, you see the positive in that, and then you realize that brothers may have just saved your life. If niggas packed you up from the bando or the block or whatever, been like, you can't get money out here. You need to see the silver lining in that.
But before we go, last thing, when we us fighting over this little bit of shit, what do we get out of that, man? Because I think about it like, all right, I bought some sneakers, I bought some, me fighting what I consider the Africans.
It's experience, nothing else.
Experience.
It's experience, bro.
Nah, no.